Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the online class of Biology for Engineers. In today's session, we will continue with the Unit 5 Biology and its Industrial Application. The next topic, what we are going to discuss in the Unit 5 is Tissue Engineering. Tissue Engineering. In the tissue engineering, we will be creating new tissues. By the process of tissue engineering, we are creating new tissues and this term tissue engineering, it originated from the National Science Foundation workshop in 1988 according to Langer and Vacanti. In 1993, tissue engineering, they defined it as it's an interdisciplinary field of research that applies both the principles of engineering and the phenomenon of life sciences towards the development of the biological substitute that will restore, maintain or improve the tissue functions. We are creating here new tissues by the process of tissue engineering. So Langer and Vacanti, they said that from the tissue engineering is applying both the principles of engineering and life sciences for the development of new tissues or improved tissues which have better tissue function, improved tissue function. So this is the tissue engineering. The purpose of tissue engineering, the main purpose of tissue engineering is to repair, regenerate or replace a patient tissue or organ. As from this tissue engineering method, we are creating new tissues. So it is used for repairing or regeneration or replacing a patient tissues or organs which are damaged, which may have got damaged by various methods, namely trauma or the congenital disease or the cancers. Due to different diseases, if the tissues are damaged in the patient, then that tissues will be replaced by the help of tissue engineering. And it is reducing the need of donor organ transplantation. Process can be reduced by the use of this tissue engineering. So in the tissue engineering, the main method which is used for preparing is, in this tissue engineering, we will use the extracellular matrix, or we also call it as scaffold. Scaffold will be created with the help of proteins. Scaffold is nothing but extracellular matrix. Extracellular matrix or scaffold is created with the help of proteins. Then fresh cells will be introduced along with the growth factors. Under suitable conditions, the tissue will be developing. Tissues will develop under suitable conditions from the cells which are introduced along with the growth factors. The extracellular matrix is nothing but the in the tissue, in the tissues of the human body, some structural proteins will be present like collagen, elastin. Collagens and elastins are the structural proteins and these proteins is helping in the development of new tissues. Tissues will develop under suitable conditions from the fresh cells which are introduced along with the growth factors. Growth factors is required for the development of tissues with the help of the proteins. Scaffold will be created. The extracellular matrix will be created. So this is the method to create new tissues by the process of tissue engineering. So tissue engineering main purpose is the new tissues will be formed. A group of cells in the human body, a group of cells in the human body will join together and form a particular tissues, and then different tissues will combine and form different organs like heart, kidneys and all, and different organs will combine and form a complete organism, that is human body. So the main purpose of tissue engineering is replacing a patient tissues or organs which is damaged by various diseases like cancer. Extracellular matrix in the tissues will be assembly of the structural proteins like collagens. Collagens and the growth factors are helping in the development of new tissues by the process of tissue engineering. So in the tissue engineering, we use different cells. Fresh cells will be introduced along with the growth factors we have discussed, that is under suitable conditions that cells is developing into new tissues in the method of tissue engineering. So different cells which we can use in tissue engineering is, the example is stem cells. Different types of cells we can use in tissue engineering. The one of the example here we are taking is stem cells. Stem cells are the cells which we are using in the tissue engineering. These are the unspecialized cells or the undifferentiated cells that can undergo division, that has the ability to divide, that has the ability to divide in culture media by the help of the growth factors and form different types of specialized cells. To form, then specialized cells will become specialized tissue and will perform specific functions. So in the tissue engineering, we are using the cells called stem cells. These are the undifferentiated or unspecialized cells, and they have the ability to divide in culture and form different types of specialized cells. Specialized cells will form a particular tissue, and that particular tissue will be performing tissue specific functions. We have different types of stem cells. When we see the classification of stem cells, based on the origin, stem cells are classified into the following types. First one is embryonic stem cells, ESCS. Embryonic stem cells are originating from the embryos. These embryos have been generated in the eggs that have been formed from the in vitro fertilization process, nothing but reproduction process. Most importantly, these cells have not been taken from the woman's body, thus will not raise the issues, ethical issues. Embryonic germ stem cells. The source of embryonic germ stem cells is a special region from the fetus, from the developing fetus, from the gonadal ridge, from the developing fetus, apart from the developing fetus during the development. Next we have adult or non-embryonic stem cells. The source of adult stem cells are many organs and tissues including peripheral blood, bone marrow, umbilical cord, blood, adipose tissue, brains, blood vessels, skeletal muscle, skin, teeth, heart, gut, liver, ovarian epithelium, testes, in specific areas, each of them. The main source of these adult stem cells are, they can be taken from the brain or blood vessels or skin, teeth. All these are the sources of the adult or non-embryonic stem cells. Next we have, when we see the classification of stem cells, they are classified into embryonic stem cells, embryonic germ stem cells, adult, non-embryonic stem cells. Other types of cells we also have related to stem cells like totipotent stem cells, cells that possess the ability to generate and develop all the cells and tissues and into an entire organisms. Group of cells will combine together and form tissues, and group of tissues will form different organs, and different organs like heart, kidneys, all that will combine and form a complete organism, the entire organisms, example like human beings. So the cells that is having the ability to generate and develop all the cells and tissues and into an entire organism is nothing but the totipotent stem cells. They can replicate many times without losing their potency. Example of totipotent cell we can take it here is zygote. Then we have pluripotent stem cells. Zygote will develop to form into two layers. Zygote will develop two layers, that is the outer layer and the inner layer. Outer layer will form the placenta and the inner layer will form the tissues of the human body. Different tissues of the human body will be formed from the inner layer. And when we see the classification of the stem cells, we have another type of stem cells like unipotent stem cells and the multipotent stem cells. Unipotent stem cells are the cells that will possess the ability to differentiate into only one type of cells or tissues will be produced under normal conditions. They also possess the ability of self-renewal. Example of the unipotent stem cells you can see here is spermatogenic stem cells. Then we have multipotent cells that has the ability to possess more than one cell type. Ability to develop more than one cell type are the multipotent stem cells. Stem cells in brain will produce the different neural cells, and the glia cells are the examples of the multipotent stem cells. Cells that is having the ability to develop into more than one cell are multipotent cells. Cells that has the ability to develop into only one cell or the tissues under the normal conditions, we call it as unipotent stem cells. Another classification of stem cells we have like oligopotent stem cells, cells that is having the ability to give rise to more than one type of mature cells. Hematopoietic stem cells are the multipotent cell. It is differentiating into red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets. So, cell giving rise to mature blood cells like red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets are the examples of the oligopotent stem cells. So, all these are the different types of stem cells. Next topic we have is recombinant vaccine. Recombinant vaccine here, this is a diagrammatic representation of recombinant HB vaccine production. Hepatitis. HB here is the vaccine for hepatitis disease. Hepatitis disease can be prevented by using this HB vaccine. Vaccines are produced by using rDNA technology. Recombinant DNA technology is the process which we are using to produce the recombinant vaccines. We have discussed about the vaccines in our previous classes. What are vaccines? What are DNAs? We have discussed all these things. When I come to college, you need to show me the structure of DNA, diagram of DNA. We have seen that I told you to draw the diagram of DNA. All the diagrams what I have discussed in all the units starting from first unit, I will be checking when you come to college, and after checking your running notes containing all the diagrams, then only you will get the marks of the internals. And if you get the less marks at the end of after the second internal, I'm not responsible for that. Everyone should show me the diagrams of the all units what we have discussed. So in this recombinant vaccines, we are producing it by which process? rDNA technology is a process which we are using to produce the recombinant vaccine. This is a diagrammatic representation of hepatitis vaccine production. How we are producing the hepatitis vaccine, which will prevent the hepatitis viral infection, which is nothing but liver infection. Liver infection, hepatitis virus, hepatitis B virus will cause the liver infection. This is the steps involved in the production of hepatitis B vaccine. As you can see in the diagram, isolation of the genes from the hepatitis B virus. This is the virus, hepatitis B virus. We are isolating, we are separating the antigen which is producing hepatitis B. Isolation of hepatitis B antigen producing gene from the hepatitis B virus. This is the virus DNA or RNA, and that from the hepatitis B virus we are separating the hepatitis B antigen which is producing that gene. Then this is the gene which we have separated from the hepatitis B virus. Then we are taking the DNA from the bacteria and we are cutting the DNA with the help of restriction enzyme. We'll cut the DNA of the bacteria. Plasmid DNA is extracted from DNA. Plasmid DNA is extracted from bacteria. Plasmid DNA is extracted from bacteria and cut with the restriction enzymes. And this HBS antigen producing gene is attached to the vector to produce the recombinant DNA. From bacteria plasmid, what we have isolated from bacteria with the help of the restriction enzymes, that will be attached with the HBS antigen producing gene. Both are attaching here and it is producing recombinant vaccine, recombinant DNA. And this recombinant DNA is introduced into the yeast cells. Yeast cells we are using here. This recombinant DNA, what is recombinant DNA? Recombinant DNA is having both plasmid DNA from bacteria, and a particular gene from hepatitis B virus. Both are mixed in the recombinant DNA, and that recombinant DNA will be introduced into the yeast cells. Yeast cells, introduction of recombinant DNA into the yeast cells will result in formation of recombinant yeast cells. Recombinant yeast cells will be formed in the fermentation tank producing HB antigens. The yeast cells will be allowed to grow on the flask or in the fermenter, and the separation of the yeast cells, extraction and purification of HB vaccines will be finally produced. These vaccines will prevent HB infection, hepatitis B viral infection, which is leading to liver infection. So we have discussed 3 topics in today's session, like recombinant vaccines, and we have discussed about stem cells, and we have discussed about one more topic, that is tissue engineering. We have discussed 3 topics in today's session of Unit 5. So we will continue with the Unit 5 in our next session. So thank you, students.